All right, just a few seconds left, and then they will begin qualifying. As we mentioned, we will have the first couple of minutes of qualifying will be silent to honor, excuse me, Gomer Mansfield and Deborah Ann Mansfield, Brian Mansfield's aunt and uncle, who passed away just this last week. And as Brian comes back, we are watching Brian Mansfield. We will keep an eye on him throughout qualifying. From what he's told me, his aunt and uncle had a huge impact on the family. They were well loved. I know everybody in that family is hurting right now. Our thoughts are with you guys. Most everybody out on track getting their qualifying runs in. Graham Nucky and Drew Warren are the only two trucks that have not taken to the grid. Do expect to see even some of these guys who do qualify here tonight, do expect to see a few of them start from pit road. There was some talk about that in the pre-race conversations with some of these drivers that they're planning on starting from pit road, playing it safe, and seeing what they can do. 30-lap race, because of the fuel limitation, will have to stop at least twice. There will be no caution, so that can throw things in for a loop as well. But anybody who has a problem early in the race still has an opportunity to recover. I would bet that some of these guys with the limited fuel load might actually try and do one of their stops with no tires because they can fill up that much faster and get back off pit road, especially if they had a little bit of a problem. Looks like Brian Mansfield is about to complete his second qualifying lap, and it looks like we'll have time to talk to him for a moment prior to the race, so we'll let him get his run done. All All right, Brian Mansfield comes to a stop. Obviously, tonight wanting to honor his aunt and uncle. So let's see if we can get a word with him now that he has completed qualifying. Hey, Brian, this is Doug. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Doug.
Hey, buddy. I know tonight's going to be a rough one. It's been a rough couple of days, but I know tonight you're driving in memory of your aunt and uncle.
Yes, sir, I am. It's been tough on my family. The last week, we lost three family members, and particularly my aunt and uncle, within a matter of 2 days, passed away of COVID. Um, it's a sad situation, our family's tough. Uh, and we're standing together. But I'm definitely racing for them tonight. This is not one of my best tracks, but I'm going out and having a good time. I'm going to have fun. I just want to say to everybody, to all the league members and everybody that's sent me messages, thank you. They mean a lot. And I know some of my cousins, particularly my cousins Kevin and Carl, their sons is listening, and there's some of their grandchildren are listening, and I know my dad's listening, and I know they appreciate the support. We appreciate the prayers, but we just want to let everybody know COVID is real. This has hit our family hard within a matter of days. My wife works at the hospital, and every day there's people dying, and not just older people, it's people in their 20s, people that's just got married and getting their lives started, and it's a sad situation. We just want everybody to take it serious, take all the precautions you can, whatever that may be, but just take it serious. And uh, like I said, tonight this is for my Uncle Gomer and Aunt Deborah. I'm going out and having fun, and have a good time, and see what happens.
All right, man. Good luck tonight. I know you'll have a little extra help.
Thank you.
All right, that was Brian Mansfield, and he is driving in honor of his aunt and uncle. So good luck to him tonight, and our thoughts are with his family. Just a little bit of time left in qualifying. Just a few seconds left, actually. Just enough time for you guys to hit the share button, follow, like, all the good stuffs. Looks like David Garman will be on the pole. Eddie Baker will start second. We'll go over the whole qualifying list once they grid here in just a moment. As Drew Warren completes his lap, the only two cars that have not completed qualifying, I take that back. Graham Nucky might not complete qualifying lap. Jason Wiley and Zach Bache never took to the track to qualify. Zach sitting at the edge of pit road. Jason Wiley sitting at the edge of pit road. I imagine we have a couple of guys here that are going to start at the back here tonight. And as I mentioned earlier, we might have one or two drivers that opt to start on pit road and not have to deal with the carnage on lap one up at the front and make their way up through the field the old-fashioned way from the back from pit road. It could be an interesting situation once they get going. Drew Warren completing his lap. Graham Nucky did not complete his. Jason Wiley and Zach Bache did not take to the track, so we have 14 cars that have qualified, 3 that have not, and as we said, a few of these guys probably choosing to start on pit road tonight. Don't forget to check out the sponsors. B Make Designs does some great graphic design work. As always, Major's Garage has some great setups and has provided a lot of great setups to the Outlaws. And of course, Combs Family Museum. Go check it out. You can find them on Facebook, get their location, then just plan your vacation around going to Combs. All right, it is time for them to grid up. David Garman and Eddie Baker will start on the front row. Brian Burkhart, Drew Warren on the second row. Michael Whining and Jim Johnson on the third row. Kevin Coleman and DJ Kenner on the fourth row. Brian Mansfield and Patrick Coluccio rounding out the top 10. 11th is Dakota Wilson. 12th is Chris Stroop. 13th is Michael Scruggs and Edmund Jones. And 14th, Jason Wiley. 15th, Zach Bache. 16th, and Graham Nucky starting in 17th. And I see a comment asking about Zach Bache's truck. Let's see if we can get a little closer. See if we can find a different camera angle on that. His is that white one in the back corner there. Once they start rolling for their pace lap here, we might get a little bit better look at it. He's waiting on Edmund to get going. There is Zach Bache's new paint scheme. Matt Stewart cheering on Chris Stroop tonight. And we have seen this battle play out here at Watkins Glen before with Garman and Eddie Baker, and came down to a pit strategy call. Could make things a bit interesting. Graham Nucky did not grid. Looks like he is going to choose to start from pit road tonight. And of course, we will be watching the 11 of Brian Mansfield closely, driving for his aunt and uncle tonight. And a huge shout out to his family, who I know is watching. We heard Brian very emotional during the pre-race interview, and our thoughts are with the whole Mansfield family this week. Two more corners to go, then the Porsche pulls off track onto pit road, and David Garman and Eddie Baker will lead them down. And it looks like Jason Wiley and DJ Kenner might have had an incident on the pace lap. Looks like Jason has a little bit of damage. Not sure what happened. Might have spun the tires trying to get the car going, but a couple of issues already, and a couple of trucks that might already be in a little bit of trouble. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away into turn number 1. And this is where things could get really interesting. Garmin to the inside. Everybody gets through turn 1. So far, so good. No issues. Now up through the S's they go as Eddie Baker and David Garman go side by side up the S's. Not the most advisable move on any day. Graham Nucky did take to the track after he got the green flag to come off pit road. Graham Nucky is now out on track. David Garman now taking the lead back from Eddie Baker as they come into the bus stop. And a couple of cars starting to make their way forward already. Scruggs already up to 10th after starting in 13th. Zach Bache is up 2 spots already from 16th to 14th. Brian Mansfield has already picked up a spot since the race started as well. And looking to take another one from Kevin Coleman. As they come through the final turn, back down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. Garmin still up in the lead. Eddie Baker still riding his tire tracks though, and Brian Burkhart starting to make his way forward, as is Drew Warren. Everybody's starting to spread out fairly nicely with no incidents, although DJ Kenner did go to pit road. Looks like he is in getting repairs. We'll have to wait and see. That could make a huge difference in the points battle. Kenner now back up off pit, coming back up off pit road. Edmund Jones involved in an incident. As he comes up, oh, it looks like Scruggs spun right in front of him, and Edmund Jones just collected him. And looks like Michael Scruggs gets loose coming up through the S's. Edmund had nowhere to go. Looks like the 99 of Patrick Coluccio might have caught a piece of that. Everybody else gets by cleanly, but Watkins Glen claims a couple more already. DJ Kenner has completed his pit stop. He is now back up off pit road. He is the points leader coming into tonight. And sounds like Zach Beige has a cheering section tonight. Mom and Dad cheering him on in North Carolina. As they come up the hill, it looks like Michael Whiting, there is an issue that was noticed in the pre-race. He had a little bit of a blink, a little connection difficulty, and it looks like it might be manifesting again just a little bit. Although he did say he hoped it got worse so he wouldn't have to drive this race. So a few of these guys not looking forward to the road course tonight. Up front, still David Garmin, Eddie Baker, still well within striking distance. Plus, Eddie Baker has the advantage of being in a Chevy. David Garmin is in a Ford. Edmund Jones and Mike Scruggs have both come to pit road for repairs. And it looks like Scruggs is coming off pit road. And it looks like Michael Whiting might have gone to pit road. Nope, he is just having all sorts of connection difficulties. Jim Johnson now up to 5th, Kevin Coleman up to 6th, and the man marching his way forward with a purpose tonight is the 11 truck of Brian Mansfield, now up to 7th. Right behind him, Dakota Wilson making another pass. He is up to 8 after starting in 11th. He is moving forward as well. Chris Stroop also making his way forward. He started in 12th and is up to 9th, but the man really charging forward, and something a lot of the fans are going to be happy to see. Graham Nucky is on a mission, ladies and gentlemen. He started in 17th. He started on pit road. He's now up to 11th and hounding the back bumper of Patrick Coluccio here. Jason Wiley up several spots. He is now up to 12th. Zach Beige now up to 14th. A lot of guys really starting to come in now that everybody is spread out. They've got a little bit of breathing room. Some guys really starting to pour on the speed. Edmund Jones about to get lapped by David Garmin. And it looks like DJ Kenner is not that far ahead. Our points leader may end up being lapped before the end of the night. Edmund Jones off track again, having some problems. Eddie Baker went off track as well. Let's see what happened. Looks like Eddie Baker, tried to cut in on the turn too soon, and Edmund Jones fortunately was able to stop before Baker got into him, but a close call there, and Eddie Baker loses a ton of ground on the leader, David Garman. Garman now has a 5-second lead. Brian Mansfield coming around to complete the lap, and has a lot of traffic in front of him. Let's take a lap with the 11 truck. There comes the start-finish line. Edmund Jones slow on the right, getting on the brakes very early. Getting good rotation, slowly getting back on the power. That's the trick in these trucks, is being easy on the gas, easy on the brakes. A lot of drivers said these were really squirrely on the brakes as they come up through the S's. Short shifting to keep grip and not spin the tires, and now down the straightaway to the bus stop. At 400, he hits the brakes. In through the bus stop, trying to keep as much momentum and use as much of the track as possible. Through the carousel portion of the track, slowly getting back on the power as you get a wiggle from the 00 of Kevin Coleman right in front of him. And down into the second to last turn, and 4 cars right in front of Mansfield as he is picking up a lot of speed here. Do believe Mansfield has a little extra help here tonight, as he just picked up 6th place and is closing on everybody in front of him. Meanwhile, looks like Graham Nucky has had an issue. We saw Graham Nucky charging through the field earlier. Here he comes up through the S's. Gets loose at the top of the S's, catches, Graham Nucky got stuck in the wall. He caught a little bit of the apron as he was coming up the S's, just enough to send him into the outside wall. A lot of trucks already seeing damage. Brian Burkhardt has come to pit road. And Drew Warren involved in an incident. And we've got a car backwards on the the third to last turn. Through the carousel, excuse me. And the same incident we saw earlier with Eddie Baker just cutting in too soon, trying to get something. And looks like that car we saw spinning might have been Zach Bache. Let's take a look. Coming through the carousel, just 1% too much power, and that is what happens. You lose the back end. Fortunately, he keeps the car off the wall and gets it going again, only losing 1 spot. The way this race is going for some of these drivers, he could probably pick several of those back up. David Garman, meanwhile, continuing to extend his lead. Now 6 seconds over second place Eddie Baker. Third place Kevin Coleman, already 15 seconds back. Jim Johnson in 4th. Brian Mansfield in 5th. You heard Brian say in pre-race this is not his best track. I'm kind of beginning to wonder about that. I do believe, though, Brian does have a little extra help tonight. Now, we have had a lot of pit stops throughout this. Guys that have been involved in incidents hit the wall, but the leaders should start pitting around 20 to go. That should be our first round of green flag pit stops. Some of these guys will try and extend that fuel window. When they were here in the Cup cars, that is how the race was won, extending that pit window. Some of these guys may not change tires tonight. May only change tires once, even though they'll have to stop twice. And now, with a lot of these guys having come to pit road in the last 2 or 3 laps, I'm willing to bet that some of these guys are really going to try and stretch everything they can get try and make up some ground on fresher tires. Second place, Eddie Baker. You see he is pushing it really hard. He got a little wiggle under braking. Kevin Coleman in third and Jim Johnson in fourth. This might be the closest battle on track right now. Jason Wiley and Drew Warren is the closest battle as Drew ducks to the inside in turn one. Gets the run down low. Great pass. That is a very tricky spot to get a perfect pass, and Drew Warren does it like an expert. Garmin, meanwhile, continuing to lead. Lap times are in the 1:16, 1:17 second range. And Brian Burkhart involved in an incident. Coming through the bus stop and just gets on the gas a little too soon. You saw Michael Scruggs was off in the bus stop, and something happened to Jim Johnson. Down into turn number one, trying to get everything he can on Kevin Coleman. Gets on the brakes too hard. That's what a lot of drivers were talking about in pre-race. The thing gets so loose under braking. And look there, Brian Mansfield picking up another position. He's now up to fourth as he gets past Jim Johnson. Eddie Baker in second. David Garmin still out front. Eddie Baker actually has the fastest lap of the race so far. But only by 3/100ths of a second faster than Garmin. And Scruggs involved in another incident. Down through the bus stop, we saw he had problems here last time as well. Just gets too much of the apron with too much power, manages to spin it around, back it up, and get going again. All right, we should start seeing some green flag pit stops here any moment. Garmin has almost a 10-second lead over second place Eddie Baker. Eddie has 8.3 seconds over third place Kevin Coleman. Brian Mansfield in fourth, another 5 seconds back. Jim Johnson another 6 seconds back in fifth. David Garmin, will he come to pit road this time? He does. Now, will Eddie Baker try and stretch the fuel mileage here? Yes, he does. Eddie Baker stays out to lead a lap here. And Eddie Baker gets some points for leading a lap. We've seen this strategy work before, stretching that mileage as far as you can. Jim Johnson, Dakota Wilson on pit road. Kevin Coleman, Brian Mansfield also on pit road. Scruggs involved in another incident. I believe that's what the smoke is from in the S's. And another instance of the truck getting loose, coming up through the S's. He manages to keep it out of the track just as Eddie Baker is coming up the hill. Now, how long does Eddie Baker try and extend this? Remember, this isn't like an oval. He will not be able to limp it back if he takes it too far. Second to last turn. Will he dive down pit road this time? And he does. That will give the lead back to David Garmin, who is only 21 seconds back from him now. Now, what is Eddie's strategy here is going to be the question. Garmin goes off in the second to last turn, manages to save it, holds on to it right behind him. Who was that went off behind him? I believe that was Zach Bache. It was. Zach went off right there, followed Garmin off the track, manages to hold on to it, then gets into the tire wall. A little bit of damage to the front end, but he turns it around and keeps it going the right way. And he is going to roll it into pit road, I do believe. Nope, Zach is staying out. He's going to keep that truck going. Try and see if he can make up some ground. He went to pit lane on lap 3 after his first incident, so he can go a little bit further. And now Garmin back in the lead, but now due to pit stops, Eddie Baker did not take 4 tires. He either took 2 tires or none, because his lap time or his pit stop time was exactly half of what David Garmin had. He managed to close that gap down tremendously, down to just 7.2 seconds. We'll have to see how the next few laps go on fresh tires. Oh, Eddie Baker goes off. Manages to spin the truck back around. He's going to get it back on track, but he's losing a lot of time here. All that time he made up on pit road. And here comes the next 2 cars. Kevin Coleman comes by. Graham Nucky, a lap down, comes by. And now Brian Mansfield in striking distance of Eddie Baker. Meanwhile, David Garmin just ran the fastest lap of the race. Now Kevin Coleman, who is currently in second, is 24 seconds behind. Eddie Baker, currently running in third, is 2 seconds behind that. Brian Mansfield, another 1.6 seconds, well within striking distance. Jason Wiley is on pit road. And David Garmin has a big lead here now. Graham Nucky in the mix with the top guys. We saw him charge through the field earlier in the race. Started on pit road, started in 17th. He had made his way up to 11th before his incident, and he is now currently in 14th place, trying to make up as much ground as he can as Eddie Baker, the third place truck, goes by. Zach Beige currently running in 13th. Looks like he might be a little down on power as he goes up through the S's. He might be on pit road soon. Oh, he loses it coming through the S's right in front of Eddie Baker. Manages to get off track, but a bit of a heartbreak there for Zach as he is trying to make up a little bit of ground. Looked like after that previous incident and hitting the tire wall, the handling might have been messed up, and when he got on power, it did not go well. Halfway through the race, and David Garmin has a 26-second lead, but second through fourth as they come by, a lot of lap cars having incidents right in front of the leader, and Garmin went off track. Oh, Garmin catches the rumble strips wrong and gets stuck in the wall. Garmin is stuck in the wall. He'll have to go to pit road. He had to be towed to pit road. Kevin Coleman now is taking the lead. Eddie Baker now to second, and look who's in third. It's Brian Mansfield continuing to march forward. And now within 6 seconds of the leader with one more pit stop to go, and the way things are going, could we see Brian Mansfield pull off a win here tonight? Edmund Jones off track in the bus stop as the leader goes by. Brian Mansfield just got to second. Something happened to Eddie Baker. Let's see what happened to Eddie Baker here tonight. Eddie having a rough night. He is an exceptional road course racer. Just got onto the brakes too hard going into the bus stop. The back end kicks out. You saw Brian Mansfield slip by. Eddie gets back out on track and saves it, but a bit of a heartbreak as he was a force to be reckoned with here in the Cup cars not that long ago. So now Kevin Coleman way out front, and look there, the man with a couple of angels pushing that truck tonight is now up to second. Jim Johnson right behind in third. Jim goes a little bit wide there. Couple of guys really trying that wider line through there. Patrick Coluccio just involved in an incident. Oh, we've seen this a lot. That just getting on the brakes and the back end wants to come around. Coluccio manages to hold on to it, maintain 10th place. While we have everybody, most cars on track, I should say, let's do a full field rundown and take a look at everybody. Kevin Coleman in the lead, 7.7 seconds ahead of Brian Mansfield. Mansfield 2.2 seconds ahead of Jim Johnson. Drew Warren back in fourth. And Drew seems to be closing down on these top guys. Eddie Baker is now drifted back to fifth. Dakota Wilson up to sixth and making his way forward. He has just been playing a patience game. Haven't talked about Dakota much tonight, but here he comes after starting in 11th up to sixth. DJ Kenner incident on the pace lap is now up into seventh after starting completely at the back of the field. Chris Stroop now up to 8th after starting in 12th. Burkhart, a couple of incidents early. He's managed to recover from him. He is now up to 9th. And Coluccio, we saw his incident a moment ago. First incident of the night, and he is now up into 10th. Jason Wiley currently running in 11th. Having a really smooth, clean race. Graham Nucky now up into 12th place. Garmin on pit road in 13th. Edmund Jones in pit road in 14th. Zach Beisch 15th. Michael Scruggs 16th. And Michael Whiting 17th. All on pit road, possibly done for the night. 12 trucks confirmed, still on track. Waiting to see how things will play out here with the rest of the field. Kevin Coleman out in front, continuing to extend his lead over second place Brian Mansfield. One more pit stop to go. Could we see pit strategy come into play? Can anybody stretch that fuel mileage? We saw Eddie Baker make a really quick pit stop last time by not getting tires. I would imagine Eddie's going to get tires this time around. Jim Johnson in third. Eddie Baker now within the clutches of Drew Warren. And Patrick Coluccio having another problem. Let's see what happened. Coming out of the bus stop, gets on the gas a little too early, spins it, manages to keep it off the wall just barely, and now back out on track, loses a lot of time though. Still managing to hold on to that top 10 spot for the moment. And Kevin Coleman is just starting to pull away even more. 9.2 seconds. 9.3 seconds as he goes off into turn one. Brian Mansfield trying anything he can to close that gap. Drew Warren and Patrick Coluccio both on pit road. It'll be close, but they should be able to make it from here on fuel. We saw Eric Baker make it 11 or Eddie Baker, excuse me. We saw Eddie Baker make it 11 laps earlier. If they're careful, they can make it from here. Jim Johnson now starting to close the gap on Brian Mansfield, down to just over 1 second. Now, Jim Johnson right almost to the back bumper of Brian Mansfield. Eddie Baker back and forth, starting to pick up a little bit of speed. Starting to gain just a little bit on Jim Johnson, and Dakota Wilson in 5th, having one of the smoothest races of the night. But he has the Iceman right behind him. DJ Kenner currently in 6th. Mansfield, Johnson, and Eddie Baker all on pit road. Kevin Coleman stays out. This is the final round of pit stops. Oh, Dakota loses it. Managed to keep it off the wall, but Dakota loses it coming through the final turn. Kevin Coleman stays out. Now remember, DJ Kenner had to pit very, very early on to get some repairs done. So he is on a slightly different pit strategy, which means when Kevin Coleman comes to pit road, if DJ Kenner can get past him and lead that lap, he'll get some bonus points. All DJ has to do tonight to secure the championship is finish in front of Chris Stroop. Right now, DJ Kenner in 2nd, Chris Stroop in 8th on pit road. Will Kevin Coleman pit this time? He drives on by. Now does DJ Kenner, when he gets around, does he pit? Brian Mansfield now back up off pit road. Now in 3rd place. Drew Warren was involved in an incident a moment ago. Looks like he had a problem in the final corner as well. Trying to get set down in, and the same thing we have seen all night. Got on the brakes, the back end came around. I'm betting there's some drivers out there really wishing they had analog brakes right now. Kevin Coleman still has not been to pit road. DJ Kenner currently in 2nd place, has not completed his final pit stop. Brian Mansfield in 3rd, 45 seconds behind, has completed his pit stop. Once Kevin Coleman and DJ Kenner come to pit road, here comes Kevin Coleman now. DJ Kenner coming around. We'll see if he comes to pit road this time. DJ last pitting on lap 12. He can go another couple of laps if he wants. This is Brian Mansfield's opportunity to catch up and possibly pull out the win here. DJ Kenner staying out. Brian Mansfield still has Jim Johnson right on the back bumper. I can promise you nobody on this track is going to touch Brian Mansfield's car here tonight. Kevin Coleman gets off of pit road. I think he took fuel only because he got out extremely quick. And we saw what happened to Eddie Baker when he took fuel only earlier in the race. We'll see if Kevin Coleman can make it work. He maintains the lead. DJ Kenner in 2nd has not hit pit road yet. He is right within 1 second of Kevin Coleman, but has not been to pit road. 3rd place, Brian Mansfield, 15 seconds behind. He might be able to pick second place up from DJ once DJ hits pit road. As they run right now with Chris Stroop in 9th place, DJ Kenner will lock up the championship here tonight. DJ is on pit road. Now the question is, how far can Mansfield get? Mansfield currently just 15 seconds behind the leader. Brian Mansfield the second, DJ Kenner starting to drop back as everybody goes by while he's on pit road. Kevin Coleman in the lead, 15.5 second lead over Brian Mansfield, but that lead is shrinking. 7 laps to go. Kevin Coleman has to be extremely careful. He is on older tires, whereas Brian Mansfield is on fresh tires. Oh, and Eddie Baker goes off the track in the horseshoe again. No, that was not Eddie that went off. That was Patrick Coluccio. Similar paint schemes. Right in front of second place Brian Mansfield, third place Jim Johnson. Just got on the brakes late into the corner and drifted out. Our leader Kevin Coleman still 15 seconds ahead of Brian Mansfield. Jim Johnson right there on Mansfield's back bumper. Eddie Baker not far behind either of them. Brian Burkhart currently in 5th. DJ Kenner in 6th. Dakota Wilson currently running in 7th. Only one incident tonight. Probably one of the cleanest races. We said something and Dakota lost it off the last turn. Manages to recover and gets it going again, but a heartbreak for him. Chris Stroop currently running in 9th. Patrick Coluccio in 10th. 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 to go at the line for Kevin Coleman. You see the gap there. Kevin cannot see Mansfield in his rear view mirror. Mansfield starting to pull away just a little bit from Jim Johnson. Eddie Baker right there with him. And Kevin Coleman off into turn number 1. Just has to keep that car smooth. He kicks the back end out a little bit coming out of turn number 1. Up through the S's, 5 laps to go. He just has to be smooth. He can even slow down a little bit just to play it safe. Oh, Brian Mansfield involved in an incident. I think everybody was cheering for Mansfield here tonight. Down into turn number 1, just gets on the brakes too hard, slides it to the outside. Eddie Baker catches the rear quarter panel, turns him around. Now Mansfield back to 4th. And what a heartbreak for Brian Mansfield after an amazing run here tonight. And with that incident, Jim Johnson moves to 2nd, Eddie Baker to 3rd, and the gap increases. Now Kevin Coleman has almost a 17-second lead with 3 laps to go. Now the battle is going to be for 2nd place as Jim Johnson currently in 2nd, Eddie Baker in 3rd, just 1.9 seconds back. Brian Mansfield to 4th, DJ Kenner currently running in 5th. Drew Warren in 6th. Dakota Wilson currently in 7th. Chris Stroop in 8th. Brian Burkhart in 9th. And Patrick Coluccio currently running 10. Jason Wiley 11th. Graham Nucky has managed to recover to 12th. Everybody from 13th on back is now off track. David Garman, Edmund Jones, Zach Bache, Michael Scruggs, and Michael Whiting now all off track and rounding out the field. Graham Nucky now involved in an incident. To the inside of Drew Warren, locks the brakes up to make sure he does not get into Drew on that entry to 1, and doing so sends himself into the grass. Great smart move by Graham, making sure they didn't go side by side through 1, knowing he didn't have the right angle to make that pass, but a little bit of a heartbreak because of the ground he lost. Kevin Coleman still in the lead. 3 laps to go for Kevin Coleman. Jim Johnson in second. Eddie Baker currently running in third. Mansfield in fourth, 10 seconds back. DJ Kenner in fifth, 5 seconds behind him. Drew Warren sixth, another 10 seconds back. Dakota Wilson in 7th place. And he's got Brian Burkhart right behind him in 8th. Chris Stroop right behind him in 9th. And Patrick Coluccio currently running in 10th. Jason Wiley came to pit road. Graham Nucky had another incident, letting Burkhart, he lets the 87 of Chris, tries to let Chris Stroop by. Chris just gets in too deep and gets into the side, sends Nucky out to the fence. Graham Nucky was one of the faster trucks in practice tonight. A disappointing night for the Australian, as he knew he had a good truck here tonight, just can't get any luck. Been saying it for weeks. We are going to see Graham Nucky win a race before you know it. He has just been coming on extremely fast. Jim Johnson and Eddie Baker now nose to tail, as Jim trying to hold Eddie Baker off with 2 laps to go. Eddie Baker looking to the inside, going into the bus stop. Can't do anything with him yet. Eddie Baker's going to look to the inside again. Can't do anything yet. Just can't find a way around Jim Johnson yet. Kevin Coleman coming down. He will be getting the white flag here. Kevin Coleman blinks. Briefly blinked. White flag in the air for Kevin Coleman. Jim Johnson and Eddie Baker coming in second and third. They're coming to the white flag. Kevin Coleman now an 18.5-second lead. Eddie Baker jumps up into second, dives it into turn number 1. Now he's just got to hold on to it, not lose it. Jim Johnson loses it coming off turn 1. Eddie Baker firmly in second now. Jim Johnson rolling again, but here comes Brian Mansfield. Brian Mansfield currently has a bit more speed and gaining quickly. Can he still pull a top 3 finish out here? Kevin Coleman, 2 turns to go, and he will win at the Glen. One more right-hand turn. He can coast from here. He has got this one wrapped up. Lets out of the gas a little bit early, making sure he gets a good, clean run through that final turn. And here comes Kevin Coleman to win at Watkins Glen. Eddie Baker currently running in second as he comes through the final turn. Out of turn 2 a little bit, or out of the final turn, a little wiggle, and Eddie Baker comes and pulls off second place. Jim Johnson now coming through. He is going to finish third. Brian Mansfield will come home in 4th place, with DJ the Iceman Kenner right on the back bumper in 5th. And DJ Kenner will have secured the championship here tonight with 1 race left to go. Drew Warren finished 6th. Brian Burkhart 7th. 8th will be Dakota Wilson. Chris Stroop is 9th. Patrick Coluccio is 10th. Jason Wiley 11th. Graham Nucky 12th. David Garman 13th. Edmund Jones 14th. Zach Bache is 15th. Michael Scruggs is 16th. Michael Whiting is 17th. And a little love between them as, hey, Brian.
Hey, Doug.
You had one heck of a race, buddy.
Yeah, I did. I'm excited finishing fourth. I'm terrible at road horses. I definitely had my aunt and uncle riding with me tonight because this is not my forte, road racing. I felt good about second. Thought I had second, and I just missed a shift and screwed up in turn one. But thank you to my sponsor, Combs Family Museum, and thank you to everybody for the prayers. And it was a good race. And thank you to Patrick, who's giving me a push right now because I'm out of gas.
You ran it right to the limit, man. Good job.
Yeah, I was letting off, and DJ kept catching me, and DJ didn't take tires that whole race, and I was like, crap. I was like, he's going to run me down. But yeah, it was an exciting race. Good job to Kevin. He had a fast truck on that.
Well, he certainly did, and congratulations. You had a heck of a run tonight, buddy.
Appreciate it, Doug.
All right, that was Brian Mansfield. Looking to see if Kevin Coleman is available. Eddie Baker is. We'll talk to him. And as is Jim Johnson. We'll start with third place Jim Johnson. Hey, Jim, it's Doug. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Doug.
Hey, man. Heck of a third place finish and a bit of a wild one there.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a road racer. We all know that. And I was just keeping clean, and new guys would make mistakes. If I can limit mine, I was just going for a top 5. I'll take a third out of this.
Well, you definitely had a few close calls and a little bit of an incident in turn number 1, but I think your recovery speaks volumes that you managed to get it straightened out extremely quickly and get back up there.
Yeah, when I did that, I was trying to turn back under Eddie, and tires were just too worn. And I gunned it and I spun myself out. What can I say? That was the one mistake I made in the race, so I'll take it.
Hey, man, one mistake here is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I knew Eddie raced me clean. I made a mistake, and I wound up third, so I'll take it. It's a road race. I'll take it.
All right, man. Congratulations, buddy.
All right, thanks, Dougie. Bye. Thanks for all you do, man.
My pleasure. Ugh, couldn't remember how to work buttons there. All right, let's talk to second place Eddie Baker. Hey, Eddie, it's Doug. You got me?
Yes, I do.
A bit of an interesting one. I have to ask. On the first pit stop, you didn't look like you took tires. You just took fuel, and was that what caused your issue?
Nope, I missed a shift. My the G29 shifter has this habit where you hit the gate instead of going into the next gear. So I missed a shift on one incident and ended up wheel hopping and spinning out in the carousel there. And then I was trying to go into the bus stop, and I think it was the 51. He let David go and then cut right in front of me, and I had to slam the brakes, and I locked it up and bounced it off the wall and got sideways there too. So a couple of mistakes, but I'm also trying to watch the real NASCAR race while I'm driving. It's probably not the smartest thing either.
No, generally not, but, to each his own, I guess.
I seem to do better on road courses when I start driving angry that I made mistakes. So I somehow was able to run those guys down, and I was upset a little bit at myself. So it definitely added a little fuel to the fire in the driving. But good for Kevin, though. I'm glad he got a win.
Yeah, that was a great run, and you had a great recovery from a couple of incidents and still managed to pull off a second-place finish.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I love doing these road courses. I've been trying to dabble in the road racing a little bit more lately between the GT3 series these guys put on, and anytime I see a road race with these cup-style vehicles, I'm definitely getting involved in it. So,
all right, man. Well, congratulations. It's definitely paying off, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. Looking to see, I do not see Kevin Coleman available to to talk to after the race. So, just a shout out, great win by Kevin Coleman and a great race overall. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a great night. I know it was an emotional night for Brian Mansfield. Great job with his fourth place finish, and great job to Kevin Coleman pulling off the win here tonight in what was a hectic race, to say the least. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to come back tomorrow night for the Outlaws again doing their dirt double header. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did, and we will see you tomorrow night.